When I tell this story now, after so many years, it never comes out the way I expect. It slips from my mouth like broken glass, sharp at the edges, dangerous if held too long. Memory has a weight, and mine presses hard against my ribs, demanding to be spoken. So I will speak, and I will begin where it began. I was 9 years old. We lived in a small house, nothing remarkable at first glance. A place patched with the ordinary wear of family life. My mother, my little sister, and me. That house was supposed to be safe. It was supposed to be ordinary. But even the most ordinary walls can hide something unspeakable, and ours did. My mother used to say, "Old houses make noises." That was her explanation for the groans in the walls, the creaks in the floorboards, the faint knocks that came when no one was at the door. She said it with the kind of authority parents use to keep their children calm, to keep themselves calm. But I knew better. Those weren't the tired sounds of wood and plaster. They were deliberate. They were language. Something was trying to announce itself. And I learned early to listen. The first night that mattered is burned into me like a scar. I remember lying in bed, my blanket tucked under my chin, staring at the ceiling where glow-in-the-dark stars clung stubbornly to their plastic sky. My room was small, a bed, a dresser, a toy chest by the window. Shadows from the trees outside stretched and dissolved along the walls, moving as shadows should. All except one. In the corner, near the toy chest, a shadow stayed still. It didn't move when the branches swayed. It didn't breathe when the others did. And when I blinked, it was gone. The absence left behind was colder than winter, the kind of cold that begins in your bones and spreads outward until you feel hollow. I pulled the blanket over my head, the way children do when survival is reduced to pretending. By morning, the toy chest stood open. I never left it open. My mother had made a rule of it. Still, there it was, gaping wide, as if someone or something had been searching inside. I told no one. Silence is another rule children learn early. Weeks later, my little sister told my mother she didn't like the man in the closet. She said he whispered at night, though she could never make out the words. She said it the way a child might report rain. My mother brushed it off with a patient smile. Little kids imagine things. But there was something in my sister's eyes that no child could fake. My mother must have seen it too, because that night she walked through the house with a candle, praying in each room. For a moment it felt like the house was being counted, each space marked. But the quiet that followed was only a truce. The nights after that became cruel. Scratches in the walls, nails dragging across the floor in the hours just before dawn. Sometimes the sound stopped at the edge of my bed, like something was testing how close it could come. I lay frozen, clutching the blanket until sleep dragged me under. In the morning, fresh claw marks appeared in the wood beside my bed. When I showed my mother, she scolded me instead. "You must have done this playing with something sharp." Adults always have explanations. They need them more than children do. But the house kept speaking, whispers like a hidden radio from inside the closet. My sister crying at corners where no one stood. A pressure in the room like unseen eyes pressing into my skin. One night I woke to find my door open, though I always closed it. The hallway light flickered, then died. Footsteps padded down the hall and stopped outside my room. The hinge creaked. A tall, dark figure leaned in through the doorway, its head just visible in the frame. I squeezed my eyes shut, praying that pretending would make it lose interest. When I opened them, the door was closed again. My mother swore she had slept through the night. But when my sister whispered that he had stood by her bed again, we both said it together. And my mother's face changed. That night, she lit another candle, but the candles never lasted. One afternoon, I came home early and sat in the living room. The house was empty. Then I heard it, the slam of the toy chest upstairs. I crept to my room. The chest was open, toys scattered across the floor, as if someone had been searching again. My chest tightened. The house felt inverted, like the air had folded inside out. When my mother came home, I told her. She said it must have been the cat. But years later, long after we had moved, I asked her again. She admitted she had sometimes woken to a shadow standing in her doorway. She hadn't told us then because she didn't want to scare us. That silence, her silence, told me the truth. The house was not just old. It was occupied. We left eventually. But memory does not pack itself into boxes. It follows. The new house was bigger, newer, safer on the surface. But on the first night, as I lay in my new room, the closet door shivered like someone had touched it from the inside. And the sounds returned. Tapping at the window glass, rhythmic, patient. One night I looked, expecting branches. Instead, I saw a pale hand pressed flat against the glass, on the second floor. No ladder, no ledge, just a hand sliding down, leaving nothing behind but terror. And then came the woman in white. My younger brother, only 4, said she visited him at night. Black eyes, a dress that moved without wind. At first my parents laughed, until the night he screamed. When I reached his room, he was huddled under the blanket, sobbing. He swore she had stood in his doorway. I knew he wasn't lying, because I had seen her too. Standing at the foot of my bed, taller than she should have been, her face pale, her mouth silent, her eyes 2 hollow wells that swallowed the world. When she leaned toward me, the scream stuck in my throat. The room folded. The house breathed. And then it was gone. They called it night terrors. They sent me to therapy. But therapy cannot explain the weight of an unseen hand, the cold breath at the back of your neck. We lived there for years. But the fear never left. Even now storms remind me. Thunder rattles the windows and I hesitate before stepping into a dark hallway, afraid of corners. Afraid of closets. Afraid of what notices me in silence. You see, the story has no ending. There was no exorcism, no final scream to chase the shadows away. Only memory, layered deep, like scratches in the wood of a child's bedroom floor. I tell you this not as proof, only as a warning, because sometimes the quiet you hear at night is not your house. Sometimes it's something waiting,